Good evening, South Tama Trojan fans. Welcome to week 4 of the Iowa high school football season. We are live from Center Point, Iowa. I'm joined by my co-host this evening, the incomparable Hunter White. Hunter, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful, Darvin. It's glad that I'm here, football night in America.
Beautiful weather tonight. We've had some scorchers in the first couple of weeks. Tonight, we got an overcast sky. It's beautiful weather for football.
Yeah, I was looking at the radar, and no rain like 100 miles from here.
That's great. That's great.
And it's 69 degrees. It's going to get cooler off. Winds are northwest, 4 miles per hour, so beautiful night for football.
Absolutely. We got two 0-3 teams here tonight, South Tama and the Center Point-Urbana Stormin Pointers. That's a mouthful sometimes. Both 0-3 coming into this one. A bit of a different profile with each team. We'll dive into that as we get into our pregame show, and we're into the Salt Creek Win pregame show here today. So thanks to those folks for bringing you the coverage. And, yeah, we're just excited to be here. Hunter, haven't seen you in a little while.
Yeah.
Can you just tell me how you've been doing and just thoughts about getting some football in tonight here in week 4.
Yeah, absolutely, Darvin. I mean, I'm feeling good about this team. Again, someone's got to come away with the win on this.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited because I was also able to watch the Williamsburg volleyball game. That one was just absolutely great, going to a 5th set and all that stuff. So hopefully the boys can bring something like that tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really fun kind of underdog win there, come from behind on those 2 sets. We did see a pretty exciting finish on this Frosh game, too. You caught a little bit more than I did.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us a little bit how that Frosh game ended.
Absolutely, and boy, was that a fight in the trenches. Already at halftime, the score was 6-0 for CPU, but then it came down to the wire as South Tama did a deep pass from the 22-yard line.
Okay, that was Emerson Bridgewater, the QB.
Yep. 2.3 seconds left, got it right in the back right corner for a touchdown.
Wow.
When there was no time left on the clock.
Incredible.
It was awesome. And so the final score was 15-14. And
so, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And that was made possible because the first touchdown that we made in the 3rd quarter, we converted 2 points. So
wow.
Excellent job from our boys in the Frosh team.
And that's got to be good news for this varsity team. And kind of the silver lining in the whole thing is that you'll hear from Coach Doran, but kind of the short and long of it here tonight is that South Tama is missing several of its varsity starters due to injury. And so our Frosh players, those sophomores and freshmen that have just gotten done playing on the Frosh game, are going to be asked to kind of come up, and we might see more of them into the second half of this game, as they're limited to how many quarters they can play in a night of football. And so, but you got to love that team and that group of kids kind of coming off of their game with the high, the momentum that brought, and you hope that kind of carries over for those players that are going to have to contribute here in this varsity game.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just so excited, you know, with those guys coming up. They're going to bring that fire and intensity. And, of course, I'm pretty sure the Frosh team is undefeated this year. And so looking forward to see those guys coming up, filling those holes. Of course, it's always sad when one of our main starters goes down, but you know, someone's got to step up.
All right. We're going to jump right over to our first interview of this Salt Creek Win pregame show, as we're just about 12 minutes away from kickoff. So time running just a little bit short. We're going to speed ahead and get to our interview with South Tama's cross-country runners. We got a couple of the boys' varsity players, and you're going to hear from them here in a moment. But before we do, Hunter, if I could have you just read our sponsors, and thanks to those local businesses who have supported us this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Big thanks to Berkwood Village of Tama Toledo, Salt Creek Win, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, S&S Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Robach Lumber, Stein Robach Floor Coverings, Medicap Pharmacy, Marquess and Hoyer Law Offices, Assured Partners Insurance, Appraisal and Realty Services, Sharn Webbers, the Farmer Daughters Photography and Film, and Trojan Country is also made possible by the Charlie Townsley Memorial. Darvin?
All righty. Here comes the interview with a couple of our boys' varsity cross-country runners. A quick note before we get into that. They had a wonderful showing over at the home meet last Monday. The boys came away with the team victory, winning, I didn't get the point finish, but no, Tommy Ty Nisma came up with a meet, first place finish. James Brandt right behind him in 4th place. Barrett Jacina finished 12th. Cade Rosenberger finished 13th. Braxton Roars 17th. And rounding out the starters for the varsity boys, Holden Shermer finished in 20th. And then on the girls' side, Kayla Heck finished in 9th place with a time of 23:12.7, and then it was Livia Smith in 23rd, Andrea Padilla in 25th, and Jenny Manzo in 30th. The girls' team did not place as a group, but the boys' team came out with a 47-point win over Grinnell and Grundy Center Gladbrook-Rhinebeck. So here, without further ado, here comes our interview with Tommy Tynisma and Braxton Roars. Welcome into another Spotlight conversation with two of our high school cross-country runners. Gentlemen, I'm going to have you introduce yourself, tell us your name and your grade, how long you've been running cross-country. Whoever wants to go first.
All right. I'm Tommy Tynisma. I'm a senior, and I've been running cross-country since 7th grade, so 6 years now.
Gotcha.
I'm Braxton Roars. I'm also a senior, and I've been running since about 7th grade as well.
Briefly, just give me some thoughts about what has kept you into running sports. I know it's not just cross country, it's the track season as well. What do you love about running as a sport? What keeps you motivated to keep kind of coming back each season?
It's just like really kind of a discipline thing that I like about it. Like, you got to work hard to get what you want out of it. You can only work as hard as you want, and like whatever you put in, you're going to get out, and that's what I like. So if I'm putting a lot of my heart and effort in, I'm going to get the results I want, and those little results keep adding up, and it keeps giving you that drive inside that wants you to keep going.
Yeah, I think what's brought me to like the sport more is meeting all the new people, because I've got a bunch of friends over a bunch of different schools that I wouldn't have met outside of running. So it's just like a nice community to be in.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your family. Who do you have at home? Parents, siblings, anything like that? And how have they impacted, or what role do they play in your career as a runner?
For me, growing up, my whole family was kind of really invested in running. My dad's the coach, obviously, so all my siblings ran when I was growing up. So I kind of just grew up going to every event that they had, and kind of just really gave me my passion because I wanted to be like them when I grew up. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think my biggest supporters were just like my mom and dad, because even when I was bad, they'd always support me, push me towards it. And then once I started getting better, they're just always excited to show up to the meets.
Yep. All right, keeping on the family theme a little bit, do you have any pets at home? If you do, tell us about them.
I got 2 dogs, Leo and Ellie. They're both blonde, and they shed like crazy all the time.
So you got lint rollers everywhere then?
Yeah, everywhere.
Right.
And I vacuum like twice, 3 times a week.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I got 2 dogs also, Gus and Oliver.
Okay.
One's a real big Great Dane.
Oh my gosh.
The other's a short, fat Basset Hound, and they drool everywhere. It's all over the walls.
Yeah, I bet. When you're not running, when you're not kind of doing track and cross country, what are some hobbies, activities that you like and that keep you busy outside of your time at school and here on the track?
I like to play video games on my PC, and then kind of just hang out with friends, and then do a lot of homework, I guess. Try to make sure I keep up on that.
Yeah, that's mostly what I do too. A little bit of gaming, a little bit of homework. As student athlete, a lot of stuff to do at school.
Takes a lot, yeah.
You just got to run right after that. So.
Right, absolutely. We just had the South Tama home meet. Can you just give us a little recap about how you guys did and just any highlights from that meet, thoughts from that meet, and also where things are at for the team at this point in the season?
So that meet, going into it, we really weren't running the best that we kind of wanted to early on. So, we're kind of looking for something there, like a little spark of energy for our team, and that's what we got. We came out with the win with 47 points. All the guys we're improving quick here now. We're kind of getting to that stretch where we're making a lot of gains and getting ready for the postseason, kind of just tapering off and maintaining. So, our 3 and 4 were right next to each other, like just milliseconds separating them. So that's really good. And then Braxton was just right behind him, like 10, 20 seconds behind him. But he was kind of out for a little bit. So him being right there really close is a really good confidence booster going into our next few weeks.
Braxton, any thoughts about the home meet? Any thoughts about where the team is at this point in the season?
Yep, I think the win was pretty good for morality. Everyone's like, as Tommy said, got dings and bruises, but it's just pretty good to see where everyone's at right now, how to run, and then, yeah, seeing everyone getting back into the sport.
What's that experience like, having to kind of deal through injuries in a season like this? Is it mentally challenging, or what kind of goes through a runner's thoughts and kind of feelings as they have to kind of deal with that and maybe not be at their best when they go out or have to sit a week out? What's that experience like?
I mean, it's definitely not an easy thing, you know, mentally and physically. You know, I mean, we're trying to cross-train, you know, maintain a little bit of fitness, but at the same time, it's not like you're actually running. You're not getting the full benefit. So, you know, after a while, you kind of just beat yourself down. But, you know, as our team here, we're kind of supporting each other, kind of lifting each other up and making each other realize, you know, it's not about how fit we are now. It's about, you know, peaking at the right time at conference and districts and state. That's when we want to be running our best. So, you know, we might not be really highly ranked right now, but that's okay because we're only focused for the end of the season.
You guys have been together a long time as a group of senior runners here on the boys team. What's some of that camaraderie like for you guys? Do you have any team bonding experiences that have been particularly memorable, or things that you really look forward to from a team bonding standpoint?
Yeah, we kind of built a brotherhood over the years. We're kind of just all always around each other. Like, even in the classroom in school, we pretty much all have the same classes, and outside of school, if we're hanging out, we're probably being together. We kind of have like an ultimate frisbee thing going on. So like, if we all get up and group around, that's kind of a team bonding experience. You got anything?
Yeah, I think the things I look most forward to for bonding is like those recovery runs where we can just take it real easy and talk about whatever. We've got a bunch of conversations. They're just pretty fun. And then team dinners also. Just get to relax and enjoy a meal together. It's pretty fun.
What sort of goals do you have for yourselves kind of individually as runners as you get down the back stretch of this season? Obviously, South Tama gets really close to a state meet qualification last year. That has to be on the list. But for you individually, what are some things that you're thinking about as you're setting goals for yourself and trying to prepare for the postseason run?
For me individually, I want to be conference, district, and then hopefully state champion. I mean, I got my work cut out for me, but I know by the end of the season I'll be in some really good shape to really take a crack at it. And then also just kind of improve upon my school record as I go along as well.
Yeah, last year our team didn't make it by like 2 points, and then I was off making it individually by a few positions. So that's a pretty good goal, get the team and myself to state.
Yep. Last question for you guys. Any advice for younger kids? You guys kind of started early as a group and have kind of come up through the whole program. What advice do you have for kids that might be considering cross-country or running sports? What do you have to say to them?
I'd just say give it a try. Like, if you don't like it, then, you know, you don't have to go out again, but at least give it a try for one time, and you never know what will happen, you know. It's not like that much of a grueling sport, but it is kind of time-consuming. So, but I mean, it's a really like good sport for people. You know, you're gonna get into the best shape of your life. So that's just really important for the human body.
Yeah, I think it's very important that young people stay motivated, because like they'll give it a try, like 1 or 2 runs, see no progress, then just give up on it. But after like 2 weeks, putting in the time and the effort, you have that discipline, then I think it'd be really good.
Awesome. All right, well, thanks a lot, guys. Best of luck here in the rest of the season. We'll catch up with you again soon.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Trojan fans, to the Salt Creek Win pregame show. Darvin Graham and Hunter White with you here as we're a couple minutes away from kickoff between South Tama and Center Point-Urbana. We're live tonight from Center Point, Iowa, here at CPU High School, Rogers Field. Quickly, a look at your starters and these two teams. South Tama comes in 0-3, taking losses first to Roland Story, 40-0. Charles City, 16-7. And then last week, the Knoxville Panthers came in and got off the schneid there off of a 2-game losing streak and defeated the Trojans 34-7. South Tama coming in with some injuries here tonight. The Trojans again without Gavin Bridgewater. He's over in street clothes this evening. He's still dealing with a shoulder injury of some kind. Trojans also without Chase Gustafson, Tyrus Clegg, Marty Garcia, and Anthony Thompson, all either starters or varsity contributors on the bench tonight for South Tama. So your starters first for the CPU Stormin Pointers. At quarterback, it'll be junior 6-foot Jackson Brinks. Running back, A.J. Maloney. Wide receivers are Colin Spohr and Carter Andrews and Rice Jones. The tight end is Jarrett Coppadryer. The center and the O-line at the center position, Liam Juan. Left guard, Seth Werner. Right guard, Drake Van Gorder. At left tackle, it's Cale Klusner. He's a senior. At right tackle, it's junior Cohen Spurlock. And on the defensive side for CPU, up front, at the D tackles, it's junior Sam Leadham and senior Seth Werner. On the ends, it's another pair of seniors, Drake Van Gorder and Cale Klusner. In the linebacker core, we've got junior Aiden Anderson, senior Tyler Bark, and senior Thomas Taylor. In the defensive backfield for CPU, junior Carter Andrews and Jarrett Coppadryer getting in at the defensive back positions. Safeties for the Stormin Pointers, senior Colin Spohr and Brecken Anderson. Kicker for the Pointers is Cohen Spurlock. The punter, Jonah DuPont. Pointers are coached by Brendan Schott, Travis Bark, Matthew Ditch, Zach Zausel, Ryan Wilkin, Aaron Bohr, Brandon Stepanek, Mark Coppadryer, and Derek Schultz. All righty. And with that, we are ready to go here. It's kickoff time here at CPU. South Tama will kick off to start. Adrian Valle, the kicker. Defensive starters for the Trojans. Up front, it's senior Juan Robles and junior Adrian Valle. Then at the ends, Jeremy Dolash and Kyan McBride. At the linebacker positions, it's Kinzer Jeanette, Miguel Medina, Daniel Weiss, and Jacob Youngbear. And the defensive backfield, Travis Chichok getting his first start here tonight. Cody Blocker and Tanner Large starting at safety. Returners. Hunter, can you get those numbers for the returners here for CPU?
Absolutely. Looks like number 1, Maloney, and the one on the far end, it's kind of hard to see. His body's kind of angled, and his arms are covering him up.
All righty. And here we go. 2 0-3 teams. One will come away with their first win of the season here tonight. And a flag is out. Maybe too many players on the field. The official.
Yeah, we got 12, I think.
We got 12.
Yeah.
So the Trojans with a misstep on special teams to start off. And hold on here. Let's count. We got 4.
Of course, leave it to the accountant to count. But I do believe it is against South Tama, yes.
The official's still kind of talking things over.
They're kind of conferring.
No, so we got 11, it looks like.
Okay. Oh, maybe not everyone was ready.
They might have had, well, they might have had him on the wrong hash mark or had the T set up wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah, a little weird way to start.
Well, and that's
tonight.
another thing, too, is that he just threw the flag. He didn't stop the play to kick, so
right.
I didn't know if it was like some kind of like live, like not a dead ball call, but
yeah, interesting. All right, we'll try this one again. Trojans kick off for the 40. And we're off. That's number 6, Carter Andrews, and
he's got a hole.
Big return here for Maloney.
But Valle able to take him down, though, so good job from our kicker, able to get in there and tackle.
Well, Valle is going to have to get physical here tonight. He's going to be starting at the D tackle position right next to Juan Robles. Coming in with the absence of Marty Garcia and a couple other players further in the backfield having to shift some bodies around.
Yeah, so
And so here's our first look at Jackson Brinks and the CPU offense. Again, it's Brinks and Maloney in the backfield. 2 receivers off to the far side.
We're showing a little blitz.
Brinks wrapped up by Kinzer Jeanette, and Juan Robles came over and pancaked him into the ground.
Awesome job.
I tell you, what I've seen from Robles in the last couple of weeks is a lot of closing speed on the outside. I've seen that nose tackle along the sideline a lot more than I have last year or even in the first couple of games. So
absolutely, he can get east to west fast, and he's been getting faster with each game too.
Yeah,
I've noticed.
Absolutely. Opening drive here at CPU, South Tama and the Stormin Pointers. 3 receivers off to the far side for CPU.
Looks like Maloney again in the back.
Brinks looking to throw, rolling right, deep down the field, one-on-one coverage, and that was Carter Andrews coming down with the catch around the 30-yard line. That was a beautiful throw by Jackson Brinks, too. You got to hand it to that kid. That was a well-thrown ball.
Absolutely, just rolling it out, kind of extending the play a little bit. He was able to make some space, get that throw right where it needed to be. Excellent play.
Hold on a second. I think we got a flag. Yep, flag out near the line of scrimmage.
False start.
And this is coming back. Oh, my goodness. So a false start.
Oh, man.
We'll move things back and kind of pick up things a little bit for CPU.
Yeah, I mean, but now South Tama needs to capitalize on this play here. Of course, we able to push him back. So.
Talk about an opportunity here. You go from the 30-yard line in South Tama field position to the 38-yard line in CPU territory here.
Yeah, so again, what I really want to see from South Tama today is really stiffen up on that secondary. I know a lot of the big plays that have happened over the course of the year has been those deep shots downfield. So
here's a handoff to Maloney up the middle. All kinds of room to run. He's brought down finally by Jeremy Dolash right around the 45, but that's good enough for a first down.
Yeah, I mean, just one of those things too. We usually do a really good job at the line of scrimmage. Of course, we got Robles there, able to, be a big body right up front. But just one of those things, it's going to take a little time to be able to get this in check, but we can't let any of these big plays go. So,
1st and 10 for the Pointers. Still the opening drive. They kind of regained their territory here after that penalty.
It looks like it's going to be a quarterback keep for Brinks.
Brinks skips through traffic. Solid game there, maybe 8 yards, 7 if we're lucky.
I know that's one thing that South Tama really needs to work on is, of course, we always come back in what seems like the 3rd quarter, but we can't give up the big plays here in the 1st where we just can't let the game get away from us. So hopefully South Tama can stiffen up on the defense here.
Last week, CPU took a 34-19 loss to the Marion Wolves. Here's 2nd down. Big stop there by the South Tama front.
I think that was Jeanette who got in the back line, was the first one to touch Brinks.
We got Jeanette, Daniel Weiss getting in there as well. 3rd down here, no gain on the play. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. They're going to say maybe a loss there. Brinks trying to communicate with his wideout. And Coach Schott calls a timeout.
Must have been some confusion there with the play call or maybe a miscount. So they're going to chit-chat about it.
So the penalty early in this drive and then a miscommunication here gives an opportunity to South Tama, and we'll see how they can kind of deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so far we've seen a really good play from Jeanette in the front 5 there on defense. So our defense, always a little good to begin with, but they really are good once they begin to keep the pressure on. So hopefully over the course of this game, we'll be able to stiffen up just a little bit more and not give up so much big plays.
3rd and 4 on the 38-yard line in South Tama territory. Trojans trying to kind of rebuff the Pointers as they're driving. Gotten some explosive plays, but some timely mistakes have slowed things as well. Pointers are going to load up the right side of the field. Just a bunch of receivers there on the right. And it's going to be a run. Maloney right up the middle. Gets free. And that'll be a first down, easily a first down there.
And that's Jeanette on that tackle. So again, Jeanette able to seek out that ball, and he is a quick man. So excellent job from Jeanette.
1st and 10. The Pointers on the South Tama 27. Again, CPU taking their time getting the play into the field.
Okay, so we're going with a 4-man front. Looks like we're going to blitz it all. And right there, stopped in the backfield, Maloney's going to cut back and go to the other far side of the field.
Pursuit, and he gets to the outside, close to a first down. Going to be right on the stick, I think, and that's not going to be just enough. 2nd and 1.5 yards, maybe. Nice game there by CPU.
Of course, we're showing blitz again, so, but with the way that they've been running, absolutely want to have a couple more linebackers kind of fill up those holes that CPU's been able to create tonight. Of course, Maloney again in the backfield. He's going to quarterback keep it, cut back in, and that's going to get him the first down.
Big hit there by Kyle Youngbear, number 28. So Youngbear gets into the action early. I didn't have him on my starter list for the defense. But it looks like we've got both Kyle and Jacob Youngbear, the senior and freshman brothers.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they're going to keep on playing Maloney, my apologies. Because, you know, they kind of gave him a couple looks in that backfield, but I'm also very interested to see what they have on that pass game. Because
oh, yeah.
I'd just be hard-pressed to think that, you know, he's got an arm on him, Brinks does.
Yeah, and he's an experienced quarterback. Him and Jarrett Coppadryer split at the quarterback position against South Tama last year over in Tama, and both had pretty good success. The Pointers shut out South Tama in that contest. So here we are at first down.
He's going to throw the flat out to Andrews, and he's going to score for that touchdown.
The Pointers get into the end zone. It's Jackson Brinks to junior Carter Andrews on the touchdown pitch and catch. 6-0.
I feel like I did a caster's curse talking about the pass game,
yeah.
and just right there, throw that flat out and just hit the gas and was in the end zone.
Well, and the thing that really cannot be understated here, and you know, you kind of might think it sounds like an excuse. You hate to make excuses, but South Tama, in 1 week's time, in kind of every part of their defensive unit, takes a loss with injuries. And so the Trojans in their backfield without senior Chase Gustafson tonight. We've heard that he is likely done for the season. Anthony Thompson, a key part as a reserve coming in and filling in. He's out tonight as well. Tanner Large spent a lot of time. He's a sophomore. Got a lot of work last year and this year on the Frosh team, and definitely a promising talent. But from just a body make standpoint, still a very young kid, young body, and going to be in a mismatch a lot of the time against these CPU receivers. So a big challenge for South Tama, and we'll see where we can find kind of spots to highlight and to grow here tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, with the experience that these guys have, they're just going to get better, and they're going to learn, you know, playing at this higher level, being able to fill up, play different positions. They'll learn the game more. They'll be better athletes, and we're just going to get better. We might not win all the time, but definitely we're going to have some key plays. Definitely wonderful job. These guys have a lot of heart, and looking forward to see that as the course of the season goes on.
Kicking for the Pointers is Colton Spurlock. Receiving for South Tama, Captain Cody Blocker. We're going to hear from him at halftime tonight. And Kinzer Jeanette being called into the kickoff return business tonight. Going to go to Blocker. He lets it go, rolls into the end zone, touchback.
Yeah, that was probably a smart play there because they were just really barreling down. It was kind of almost like a half of a line drive that he was able to send that ball up and over. But hey, we get, I believe in high school it's 20-yard line, right?
Yep, 20. Yep.
Okay.
I know things are kind of shifting around these days with the kickoffs kind of moving and things changing at the pro and college level. So
yeah,
be interesting to see how that trickles down over the years at high school. So here's our first look at the South Tama offense. Under center, it's again Daniel Weiss at running back, Cody Blocker. Jacob Youngbear is going to start at fullback tonight for the Trojans. At the wide receiver positions, it's Jeremy Dolash and Drayton White. Big throw down the field there by Daniel Weiss looking for Jeanette. Jeanette just couldn't get free on the coverage from Brecken Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, a play like that, hopefully I know we started off the first drive against Knoxville with the pass game.
Yep.
I, of course, kind of expect to see that again tonight, but I also would like to see a good combination of run plays, pass plays. I know Blocker's got some big legs on him, can really run fast and really hit him with that aggressive, punchy speed. So looking to see Blocker do great on the run game. Of course, Weiss got an arm on him too.
So Large and Dolash, the receivers out wide. Pitch out to Blocker, cuts back, wrapped up, little run after contact there, and Cody Blocker moves ahead for a few yards.
And also that was a heads-up play by Blocker. I mean, he was going to sort of kind of do a sweep out around to the far side of the field, but he was able to acknowledge that close-in blocker from CPU and cut it up and got 5 yards out of it.
Starters up front for the Trojans on offense. At center, it's Miguel Medina. Then it's Wyatt Sermon, Kyan McBride, Keaton Sokol, and Josh Stull. Sokol and Sermon tonight are the practice captains from this week. We heard from Coach Doran earlier on Thursday.
And it looks like that was Weiss on the quarterback keep, able to get us that first down.
Really one of the most athletic bodies on this South Tama offense right now, Daniel Weiss, coming from the baseball team, basketball team for South Tama. Coming on for the Trojans, Drayton White running the play on. And here we are, 1st and 10.
And we got White on the close side, but we're going to hand it off. Back to Blocker, and he's got space.
Blocker getting near a first down, bobbles it, goes out of bounds.
Oh, my.
I think they're just going to keep it because it never touched anybody else. So Blocker just might have gotten tripped up as he was headed for the sidelines. The ball kind of popped up a foot or two in the air, but he corralled it back, and it moved out of bounds before we had any danger.
Oh, yeah. Got to really secure that ball, hold it tight, because CPU is going to be gunning for that ball.
First and 10 for Weiss and the Trojans. Handoff. Cody Blocker, spin move, but gets contact as soon as he gets into the middle of the CPU defense.
You know, Darvin, I would like to see the statistic, and I know there's not a lot of statistics in high school sports, but I would almost guarantee that yards after hits, South Tama has to have, like, we got to be one of the top scorers in our conference, because, man, as soon as we get tackled, we either cut back in, really try to go in and get those extra yards, and it's been paying off for these boys.
You're 2nd and 7 now for STC.
It looks like quarterback keep from Weiss.
Up the middle. Near first down. Good gain there on 2nd down. Putting up a very manageable 3rd down situation as the Trojans get into CPU territory.
Yeah, excellent job how we're really establishing the run game here. Of course, Blocker's been able to go out to the wings, and that quarterback keeper we've seen a couple times already in this first drive with Weiss, able to get some positive yards. So definitely really getting that front line wore down on the side of CPU.
Trojans trying to keep it as simple as possible, as you got a lot of kids that are trying to play different things or in the starting lineup for the first time. And so we're seeing a lot of the remaining varsity players getting action here with Weiss and Blocker. Not a lot of pass plays.
And it looks like they're going to give it to him. That's another first down for South Tama.
Little sprint ahead there by Weiss. Gets it done. And the Trojans get a 1st and 10. Ball will be squarely on the 45. Well, not squarely, though. I see it here. We're just a a couple inches off.
Just a smidge.
Just shy of the 45.
Of course, but I mean, shout out to our front line, able to make those holes, create that space for both Blocker and Weiss. So excellent job from our front five. And that's going to be
And a whistle.
offsides. That was a neutral zone infraction from, I believe, 30? Oh. 34. That would be Tyler Bark. He had his helmet in.
Couple of penalties here. The first on the CPU drive kind of flipped the field almost. CPU managed to kind of claw back, and they got the touchdown out of it. Here, South Tama pushes ahead to the 40, 5-yard gain. Quick pass out to the side. Jeremy Dolash up the corner, and he's going to have enough for a first down. Trojans marching up the field here on their first drive in the first quarter.
I really like what South Tama is doing. You know, quick throw out passes to Dolash. And I know Jeanette's been in there getting a couple of those catches in. I really like the quick, just in the hands for a few seconds out. Don't really have to think about it. Good job from Weiss connecting with Dolash.
Here's Tanner Large, the receiver, to the far side. Dolash on the near side by the sideline. Blocker and Young Bear in the I formation. And South Tama wrapped up in the backfield. I think that was Blocker on the carry.
Yes.
So, okay, I think I misspoke there. I called Jacob Young Bear as the starting running back or the starting fullback, and I believe instead is his younger brother, Kyle Young Bear. So, some misinformation there, so sorry about that. Young Bear, Jacob Young Bear, the elder, starting on the defensive side. And Kyle, his younger brother, who's been at running back for the Frosch team, in at the starting fullback position. Weiss looking to throw, looking for Large. Pressure coming. White has to get pushed out of bounds. Incomplete.
I mean, still, excellent job from Weiss, knowing that he had to throw that ball, create that space, because if we were going to get sacked all the way back to the 40-yard line,
that would have been tough. Oh, my goodness.
That would be difficult, especially with 3rd and 14.
So Weiss kind of comes off his back shoulder, spins around, and gets rid of it, and that brings up 3rd and long. 3rd and 14. Really would like to have a tone-setting 3rd down conversion here, but a lot to ask as South Tama looking at 14 yards. Loose ball in the backfield, and it's going to be CPU taking it to the house.
It looks like that's going to be Thomas Taylor, linebacker.
And so the CPU defense scores off a fumble opportunity midway into the first quarter, and it's 13-0.
I mean, that's a good adjustment that CPU was able to make. They were showing the center linebacker, showing blitz for almost that whole drive up until that very last play where we had that shovel pass. He was, I don't believe it was Taylor himself, but they kind of shifted the linebacker out over to the far side of the field, and that's kind of what caused that, that shovel pass fumble.
PAT coming here after the fumble and a return for a touchdown.
So it looks like I heard them yelling for offense, so I think they're actually going to go for 2 here.
Okay. Might not be a bad choice here for Coach Schotten and the Pointers.
No, especially with how the Frosch game went.
Yeah.
They're going to try and get all the points that they could get.
Leave no stone unturned, yeah.
That's exactly right.
All right.
So it looks like it's going to be Maloney in the backfield. They're going to hand it off to him.
To the left, Maloney punches it through. Easy work there on the goal line. 2-point conversion, and it's 15-0.
But there's still a lot of game left to play, Darvin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, these kids are going to learn. They're kind of getting a feel of what CPU is kind of doing right now. They know that, you know, CPU has been defeated before, so it's just one of those things where South Tama needs to keep their chins up. Still a lot of game left to play. You know, kind of do what you need to do on offense. Don't make any penalties, because right now, South Tama, that's one thing that we got to be proud of, is that we haven't gotten any flags other than the first kickoff.
Yeah, the penalties have come from CPU here tonight, so far anyway, and we'll see here. Big opportunity here for South Tama to kind of respond and at least get some points on the board. We've got Adrian Valle there able to kick a field goal, I believe. So we do have some options. We can able to get it into CPU territory. We did last time, and the drive just kind of fell short. We'll see here if the Trojans can kind of punch it through late into the first quarter. So again, it will be Blocker and Jeanette, the returners for South Tama. Spurlock to kick for CPU and company.
All
It's
right.
homecoming here at CPU High School, so a big crowd right below us on the press box.
And we get a good couple blocks.
And the Trojans will start the drive right around the 20. Jeanette, the returner for STC.
Excellent job from Jeanette there, able to field that center field and able to find the hole where it needed to be, and was able to get a couple yards instead of that touchback. So good job.
15-0, Pointers up after a quick touchdown on the CPU first drive of the game, and then a fumble and a return for a touchdown brought it to 15-0.
Blocker on the carry.
Not much there on first down, maybe a yard.
Yep. Looks like coming in, see who's gonna be given the play. We's gonna talk it out.
White runs off. Blocker, Kyle Youngbear in the backfield, Dolash and Tanner Large, the receivers.
That score formation.
Moving out. Rolling, gonna tuck, head for the sidelines. And he scoots out of bounds. A flag comes out right at the point of contact there.
I don't know if that was holding on us or if that was a block in the back.
Maybe a block in the back there as it came out right as Weiss was scooting out of bounds.
Yeah, because Weiss was cutting back up there. But again, good job from Weiss, able to acknowledge that, of course, we had a couple people with really tight coverage, and he was able to be like, hey, I got some open field, able to make some positive yards, but flag on the play.
It'll go against South Tama here. And the penalty against the Trojans will push the ball back 5 yards.
That's just unfortunate. Just right when we actually had a positive play go on, and
yeah,
now we're back 5.
Drayton White comes and switches off with Tanner Large. And we're underway here, 2nd and 20. So it was a 10-yard loss on that penalty. 2nd and 20 on the 15. Daniel Weiss, quick pass there to Kinzer Jeanette across the middle, and he gets some contact, but a nice little game there, setting the ball at the 25.
Yeah, that was good. I really like the timing that Weiss has with his receivers. As over the course that we saw, especially that game against Charles City, what could have been the inklings of a pass game has now really solidified as they've been practicing and getting those timings down. So good job from our boys in blue, able to get that figured out.
All righty, so 3rd and 8 now for STC on their own 25.
In that score formation, Weiss going to roll out.
They've passed out of that twice now, and that might be intentional grounding as Weiss had to let it go under pressure. Nobody was home along the near sideline.
Yeah.
I don't see a flag. Have you seen a flag come out yet?
I did.
You did?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was the
All right.
close line judge throwing it out. Yeah, I believe it was intentional grounding because I don't know what the specific rule is, but I know at higher levels, it's usually if you're throwing the ball back in between the tackles,
Yeah.
that's what's going to cause that. So, oh, penalty was declined, so it's going to be 4th and 8. So, Valle back to punt.
Valle to punt. Jarrett Coppadryer, the returner for CPU. On 4th down here. Big pressure and a blocked punt. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So the defense for CPU scores in back-to-back drives. It was a fumble return for a touchdown and a blocked punt and a return for a touchdown there. Did you get the number on that CPU player, Hunter? It was tough to see because they kind of came out in a pack. And but a heads-up play there by CPU, kind of capitalizing.
I almost want to say that was Bark again.
Okay, all right.
So Bark being a big player for this CPU defense.
Spurlock to kick the PAT.
And it's good.
And it's good. Tough start to this one here, 21-0 as we near the 1-minute mark left in the first quarter. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Berkwood Village of Tama Toledo, Salt Creek Wind, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, SNS Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Robach Lumber, Stein Robach Floor Coverings, Medicap Pharmacy, Assured Partners Insurance, Mark Wesson Hoyer Law Office, Appraisal and Realty Services, Sharn Weber's TFD Photo and Film, and all of tonight's and all of our Trojan Country broadcasts made possible by the Charlie Townsley Memorial. So we go back to kick return formation here.
Yeah.
As CPU quickly gaining control of this game here early in the first.
I see the cheerleaders down here doing push-ups, so they're going to be doing 21 push-ups, I believe. So
Staying busy here in the first quarter, which is not good news for the South Tama Trojans. But
no, it is not. But, I mean, still plenty of games. I kind of sound like a broken record, but still plenty of time left. Still 3 more quarters. These guys play with a lot of heart just because we had a lot of guys have to come up. Maybe just one of those things where
maybe a little fatigue on some of those players, There's Cody Blocker, the returner, covered up near the 30.
I believe that was Jeanette.
Okay.
Yep.
And we'll start South Tama's next drive on the 30-yard line. So far, I think Daniel Weiss has been good for 1 completed pass. He hasn't attempted many passes.
No.
He had 1 connection with Kinzer Jeanette, maybe for a 5-yard gain there. But so far, Weiss has not had much opportunity to air it out. And so it's been the run game here so far in this first quarter. And we've seen some struggles, as evidenced by the fumble and the block punt.
So it looks like that's going to be a quarterback keeper for Weiss, and he's going to be able to pick up 2 yards on that.
Make sure to stick around at halftime. We're going to hear from South Tama captain Cody Blocker. We had a spotlight interview with him this week, and we're going to air that during the Berkwood Village of Tama Toledo halftime show. So make sure to stick around, and we'll hear from him. Really kind of interesting situation with Cody. He had to deal with injury in his freshman and sophomore years. Kind of fought through that, stayed with the team, and has been a leader and has now found himself in the captain's position along with a few other Trojans, and really been contributing this year on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely, and Blocker there able to not get a gain on that play, but still good job of these guys being able to step up, play at varsity, and just big heart.
3rd and 8 here for the Trojans as we're going to wind down, maybe go right to the quarter break. And we're going to go to the end of the first. We'll be right back after this. Thanks for being with us.
Let me talk just for a minute.
Welcome back. It's the start of the second quarter here at Center Point, Iowa. CPU High School, the Pointers leading 22-0 against South Tama. Was a pitch and catch from Jackson Brinks to Carter Andrews to start the scoring, and then a pair of defensive touchdowns. Daniel Weiss pitches out to Cody Blocker. Blocker along the far sideline. Close to a first down there.
Yeah. Way to go for Blocker, able to cut it back upfield and go from east to west, straight to north to south. And he wasn't afraid either. He really hit that linebacker there, and we're going to get that first down. Looks like they're going to give it to us.
1st and 10 for the Trojans. South Tama's been able to move the ball down the field a little bit. It hasn't been that we're getting a ton of pressure or we're just completely unable to penetrate this front line of CPU, but yeah, it's kind of where you go after you get through that initial defensive line, and some of the kind of breakdowns of the South Tama offense have kind of caused some problems here in the first quarter. Early second quarter action. Weiss looking for Dolash, going to go long down the sideline, nearly intercepted. Good heads-up play there by Dolash to kind of save it, because he played defensive back right there, just breaking that interception up.
Yeah, that was double coverage there, and Andrews, who has maybe like an inch or two on Dolash, just was able to get that jump up right where it needed to be. But good defensive play, even though we're on offense.
Yeah, heads-up play there, but incomplete, bringing up 2nd and 10 on the 35 for South Tama. Again, it's Jeremy Dolash, the lone receiver, here to the near side. Tanner Large on the other. Pitch out to Cody Blocker to the sideline. Going to be forced out near the line of scrimmage, so not much there.
Man, it's difficult, especially when you're 22-0 at the start of the first quarter, or second quarter, my apologies, but it's just, you gotta push through this. Just run your routes, run your plays, do what you know, play to the best of your ability. And it's also really difficult when you're at homecoming too.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of energy here on the CPU side. As we've kind of panned to the CPU end zone a couple of times. There's a stop in the backfield. That was number 74, Drake Van Gorder, senior defensive lineman, with the sack. And so that will push the ball back to the 33-yard line, and that'll be 4th and 14 on the 32, actually. And so Coppadryer will walk it back to return the punt from Adrian Valle.
Valle's got to get this punt out quick.
Yeah, the last go-around. A low snap again. CPU recovers the loose ball on a bad snap, and they're going to return it all the way into the 19-yard line. Goodness gracious.
Wow. Just one of those things where it's just a miscommunication. I wonder if it's nerves at this point.
Sure. You kind of have it go wrong once, and then you're thinking about it the rest of the time. Mm-hmm. And so here, and hard to tell if that was the long snapper's problem. It came in a little bit low. Valle unable to kind of scoop up and keep it going, but here the Pointers put the pressure on, and they're starting their next drive on the 32-yard line, knocking on the door of the South Tama red zone.
Yeah, and just the way that this whole time their offense has been able to rest basically almost the entire first quarter. So a lot of these guys are still fresh, and we got guys playing both sides of the ball. But excellent job right there from Kinzer Jeanette, able to get that tackle for no gain.
2nd and 10 now, after Jeanette with the stop.
So hopefully we can get some good looks on defense here. Of course, I know we do like we do a 3-man and a 4-man front, which really gives a different look. Hopefully we can keep that up, maybe get some pressure if they're trying to run that ball.
Brinks looking to throw. All to the outside, a collision.
Wow, that was a really interesting play. So Dolash was coming in for the pressure, and Anderson on the side of CPU ran into
Copadryer,
coughed up the ball, but then, so I think Anderson initially caught it, and then Copadryer finished it through.
Yeah, and they both collided and landed on the ground, but that sets up 3rd and 13 here. Trojans would love to get at least a stop or at least a forced field goal attempt, as we're getting into the midway section of the second quarter now.
They're going to give it to
Maloney. Big room to run. Maloney, a 4-lane highway up the left side of the field, and Maloney is in for a touchdown. Goodness, goodness, goodness.
Yeah, it also is one of those things where we have a lot of our players playing both sides of the ball, and especially when you're really hurting offensively, you can't really get anything going defensively, and you're going to be gassed. It's just one of those unfortunate set of circumstances.
A whistle before the PAT was off.
Dolash able to get that block, but I think we're going to get offsides because Dolash jumped quick.
Kyan McBride came screaming in from the line and might have had an opportunity at a block PAT, but it will be a penalty against South Tama, and that will move the PAT in a couple of yards. Here's Spurlock to kick the PAT. Trojans again jump off sides.
Unfortunate. Just, I bet that's a lot of frustration too with the missed punt, and it looks like they're going to bring the offense on.
No, this one's going to be called a false start on CPU.
Interesting.
So both sides just a little jumpy on the timing, and so now CPU is going to bring in their 2-point conversion unit and just try and get this thing in the end zone again. They did it pretty handily in the first quarter. We'll see if they can do it again. Reminder, make sure to stick around for halftime. At the Berkwood Village halftime show, we're going to hear from Captain Cody Blocker. If we can find any scores from around the area, we'll pass along some updates from District 5 teams as well as our area teams in action tonight. Here's Maloney up the middle, and it's going to be good. No, that wasn't Maloney. That was number 25, Jackson Whitty. Whitty, the senior, kind of backup running back. And so now we are at 30-0. Kind of approaching continuous clock territory here. You don't want to kind of talk about that too quickly, but this has been a very aggressive set of drives here with these turnovers.
Absolutely.
And special teams miscues. South Tama finds themselves in a pretty sizable hole here.
Yeah, very precarious position for sure. So, again, these CPU players, they're playing for homecoming. They got a chip on their shoulder, a little energy going into this game, and it's just been compounded with excellent play after excellent play. So it looks like we got Blocker and Jeanette back to receive, and Spurlock for CPU back to kick. Hopefully, we just need one of those big plays on offense. I mean, Blocker's been running the ball pretty well tonight.
Yeah, it's not like our offense has gotten shut down. It's just we've had some mistakes, and they've cost us just about every time. Whereas you think about that penalty early in that first quarter, CPU gets the field flipped on a penalty, and they come out and end with a touchdown. Cody Blocker tiptoeing around. Finally gets brought down near the 25.
Way to be slippery. He was able to shed a couple blockers there. I was going to mention, like, maybe our blocking just wasn't the greatest since we are a little gassed there on the return, but excellent job for Blocker able to make up some plays there and get the ball downfield a little bit farther.
1st and 10 for the Trojans on the 26-yard line in South Tama territory. A little bit different look here with 3 receivers, 2 to the far side, Dolash, and a missed snap. Ball goes down to the 5-yard line. Weiss has to fall on it, and South Tama gets backed up into their own red zone.
Unfortunate. It's probably nerves at this point. Nerves,
right.
tired. You're thinking about it this entire time, like, oh my gosh, we're down 30-0, and it's not even halftime.
Yep. I remember a high school baseball teammate of mine. When he was a pitcher, he had trouble throwing to first. He'd get a little loose ball, and that little hopper to first got to get in his head. And I tell you, this is what kind of we're seeing here. And a drop pass by Dolash, incomplete there on second down. And it just gets to be, once it gets in your head, it starts to spiral a little bit here. And that's what we're seeing. I think South Tama cannot get to that halftime locker room quick enough to try and just get themselves reset, regardless of what's going on with the scoreboard.
Absolutely.
And just see if they can put together just a little more efficient and helpful third quarter. But right now, things in a pretty bad spot here for South Tama.
Absolutely.
So Weiss and the Trojans looking at 3rd and 30 after that loose ball. We got a flag out before the
I believe it
whistle.
was a clock violation.
Okay.
Oh,
no, so
okay,
timeout
wonderful.
gets called before the flag comes out, so just at the last second there. Coach Bridgewater coming over to talk to his players. And
yeah. I mean, usually in week 4, you usually find what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are.
Yeah.
And then you usually try to hone up on those strengths and kind of maybe give a different look on the weaknesses, maybe kind of change up the way some plays are, maybe a 3-man, 5-man front. But just, wow. Just unfortunate set of circumstances between long snapping, special teams, some just really excellent plays from Maloney and the defensive backs.
we haven't hardly seen anything out of the pass game so far. They haven't needed it. It's just been run after run, and then these defensive turnovers and conversions for touchdowns.
Yeah.
Been got to be an odd situation for CPU as well, because they don't have just a real kind of steady rhythm of a game to work with here. But shoot, I'd love to be on this side of things rather than on the South Tama side, so
Absolutely.
you can't feel too bad about it for them.
Yeah. Especially with the way that they've been losing.
Weiss up the middle, right to Kyle Youngbear. Youngbear moves some tacklers a little bit and gets himself all the way out to the 19. Got to be first varsity catch here for Kyle Youngbear, the freshman.
Yeah, and that was right in the center of the field too, so definitely linebackers bearing down on him, able to make that catch and drive for an extra yard there.
So if nothing else, Youngbear kind of gives this punt team a little bit of breathing room, not having to be backed up right into the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
Valle will step it back to around the 5 or 6 yard line.
All right, deep breath. There it is.
This one goes high, but Valle gets kind of a line drive punt off. Coppadryer will receive, and a nice tackle there. That's Cody Blocker on the tackle. Open field tackle by Blocker. And the Pointers will start on the 49-yard line.
Yeah, if Blocker didn't make that tackle, it would have been easy an additional 10 yards.
Oh, yeah, there was nobody within, 5-10 yards, and we do have a flag out, of course.
I didn't see any play on that, or any violation, but looks like the officials are going to still chit-chat about it.
We'll wait to find out who it's against. Maybe it's going to go, it'll be against South Tama. Block in the back, I wonder.
Yep.
And so more special teams missteps. This time it takes some yards off of that return, and now CPU will start on the 36.
I was going to mention, as CPU looks like we're
Four
going to
receivers
show
putting one in some very fast motion. A fake handoff. Maloney going up the left sideline. sprints past 2 tacklers. Juan Robles throws him down. Goodness, buddy.
I mean, I would have done the same thing, to be completely honest. Get a little frustration out.
Oh, my
Get
goodness.
that big hit. Come on, big man.
It was some smooth running there by Maloney, and he kind of got through a couple of tacklers and then ran into specifically
a
it's
wall.
a 6'2", 320-pound wall, and Robles kind of put him to the ground, but that still is a solid gain, 2nd and 4.
Able to get that catch, and he's going to cut up field, but he steps out of bounds. Yeah, I saw him
Crowd
step
thinks
out
it
of
goes
bounds.
into the end zone, but the ref is going to move the ball back to around the 7.
And that was Nathan Miller on the reception there. But yeah, just a little bit too close to the sideline. He did step out. So excellent play from the ref. Able to recognize that and able to march him back. And South Tama still has to make some plays defensively, though.
1st and 10 for the Pointers after the big reception there. Brecken Anderson, the near side receiver here for Brinks and company. Maloney fires into a couple defenders. It was Drayton White. And let's see here. I don't have a 32. You have a 32 there, Hunter?
32. I do not.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a situation here tonight as we've got some different kids coming in with different numbers.
Yep.
At any rate,
Yeah,
nice stop there by the Trojans.
Yeah, especially with the way that people get injured on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
They're going to have to trade out because they only have so many jerseys.
2nd and 6 on the 8-yard line. Handoff again to Maloney. Good stop there by Kyan McBride. Just met him right in front, drove him back.
Yeah. I like McBride a lot because we don't really say his name a lot on Trojan Country, but he is there play after play, giving it 100% of his effort.
You see right there why he's a team captain. He's leading this defense in a lot of ways. He's in the middle of things a lot, so it's hard to see him pop out and kind of chase down an open field tackle. But right there, a good stop against A.J. Maloney. And now we have 3rd and 3. Andrews kind of lost his footing. He gets back up, comes away with the reception, trying to get pushed into the end zone, trying to cross the plane. That's a touchdown. Holy cow. Carter Andrews slipped and fell, was completely prone on his back, got up. Jackson Brinks was able to kind of keep the play alive, dumped it off to Andrews. Andrews gets to about the 2-yard line, and then his team just kind of heaves him over the South Tama defense, and he stretches the ball out, and it's a touchdown.
Wow. Just if that's ain't an example of just how the entire night has been for CPU. And here we go again, trying to get off sides. Dolash again, trying to get that jump start on that ball.
So maybe it's just a thing where there's that whoever's playing that corner just might be mistimed a little bit, and whatever they're doing, they kind of seem to keep doing it. I don't know if it's Dolash or the kid that he's lined up against, but another hiccup here on special teams.
Yeah, it's just a mistiming there off the edge, trying to get that block punt.
Spurlock's PAT, this one sails straight through the uprights. And that makes it 36-0. So South Tama needing to put some points on the board, or they'll start this second half with a continuous clock now, down 37-0.
Well, at least we got some things to talk about during halftime. These guys are obviously a second half team, but with the whole of 37-0 and the continuous clock in play, it's going to be a hard press comeback.
You try and just you try and just reset the game entirely and say, hey, let's not even look at the scoreboard. Let's just see if we can put one foot in front of the other and try and come up with some positives and do the best we can here. So Trojans again, same returners out for STC. It's going to be Blocker and Jeanette to return the kick by Carson Spurlock.
hopefully we can get a good return on this, really get a fire going. Because at this point, it's like, just score points. Don't get skunked.
Yep.
That's going to
bounce. Jeanette picks it up. And he's gobbled up near the 20.
I think other than that first initial drive that CPU had, we've been playing on the South Tama side of the field all half. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can get on CPU side with this drive, get a fire going. Hopefully just get points at this point.
Well, and the tough thing with having kids out like they are, we don't have a lot of our top-tier weapons, and so the big play options are just very limited. And so you're going to ask these kids to kind of ground and pound their way up the field, and that's a hard thing to do. Here's Daniel Weiss, gets through a couple of tacklers, a couple of yards, and gets pushed out of bounds.
Yeah, especially right now, these guys still have to play as a team. They can't get frustrated and be like, well, since things are falling apart, I'm going to play my own game. They still got to play as a team. They still got to keep their heads in the game. And these guys have been playing as a team pretty well for the first 3 weeks. They're doing it again here. So they just got to keep a cool, level head. Don't let the mistakes, compound on itself.
I'm not seeing too many, inner squad turmoil or scuffles or anything, and that's a positive to take away, but plenty of issues to fix though. Here's Blocker up the front, short gain on second down, and that'll bring up third down. And so that's where, just like I said, you need 10 and 15 here in this position when you're backed into the 20-yard line. You just need to get out of it. And South Tama just doesn't have that in the cards at the moment. I mean, it's there, but it's the probability of finding one of those is going to be a lot less.
Absolutely. It's definitely high school football is the game of big plays. Of course, it's going to take some time as there's a QB keep there
up the
for
middle.
Weiss.
No gain there.
But like I was saying, it's a game of big plays. South Tama just had a really tough time stopping big plays as there's a rabbit on the field.
Oh, my goodness.
on the 45, going over to east and west. He's going to make it to the other side. He's going to cut up field. 40, 30. Oh, then he's going to cut back, and he's going to run off field. So excellent job from the bunny.
There was a literal bunny rabbit on the far sideline to South Tama's side. I couldn't see it until you said the last thing there.
Yeah.
And he scoots off into the track, and I hope maybe he found his way under the fence, or maybe there was an open door. I don't know. I didn't see how it ended up for the poor little guy, but at any rate, we'll get the camera back here to the line of scrimmage. And
Maloney again with the carry, going to cut up field, and a good strong tackle for STC. I believe that is.
So that QB keep was on fourth down, and that turns it over to the Pointers. And now South Tama defending its own end zone again with CPU set up just outside the red zone.
And it was Weiss with that tackle, so getting some good plays defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. Big, strong kid there. And CPU taking their time getting the play in. We'll have a busy week of volleyball coming up this coming week. We'll be at Grinnell for a duel against the Tigers. There's a catch by who's that? Coppadryer all on the far sideline, down for a first down. They've had that passing game whenever they wanted it tonight. They've really leaned on the run, which you can't blame them. You sort of limit the mistakes. Haven't seen a fumble get poked out yet.
Yeah, I haven't really seen any mistakes on the side other than a couple penalties for CPU, but they've been able to bounce back really good.
Coppadryer in motion. He gets the pass again. Gets met at the 5. Cody Blocker comes in and stops him up.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where maybe the season's been getting to our guys. And, I mean, they've been playing tough ball all season long.
Quick action here at the line of scrimmage. Maloney gets a big block there by number 81. That was Colin Spohr setting a huge block. And
I was blocking the back.
Block in the back. That'll be whistled against the Pointers. So that'll stop the momentum here a little bit, but short time here left in the first half. It's going to be a blindside block, so that'll push the ball back 10 yards. No, excuse me, 15 yards. And they might have one more shot at the end zone here, but we got continuous clock running. 5 seconds left. Brinks, one more play. It'll be a handoff to Maloney. And he's stopped before he gets very far. End of the first half. South Tama trailing 37-0. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with our Berkwood Village halftime show. Thanks for being with us. Welcome back live. It's the Berkwood Village halftime show here on Trojan Country. Halftime score, South Tama trailing big here after 2 quarters. Center Point-Urbana leading 37-0. Quickly want to give you some results from last week and some matchups that are on the field tonight here around the state of Iowa. In District 5, second-ranked Williamsburg, depends on what poll you look at, I think. Top-ranked Williamsburg in Class 3A took down Clear Creek-Amana 49-20 last week. Tonight they're up against Fort Madison, who received votes in Class 3A this week as well. Quick shout out to Leaf Boating over there, receiver for the Fort Madison Bloodhounds, a cousin of mine. So good luck to the Fort Madison folks over there. Benton Community last week, they lost to second-ranked Mount Vernon. Kind of came up against a buzzsaw there. 19-7 was the score on that one. Tonight, Benton Community takes on Clear Creek-Amana. The Fairfield Trojans edged out Washington 23-20 at home last week. They're hosting Keokuk for their homecoming game tonight. Grinnell last week steamrolled Oskaloosa 46-6 on the road. Tonight, they are traveling again, and they take on Washington. here in week 4. The Solon Spartans dominated Central DeWitt 41-6 last week, and they head for a showdown with second-ranked Mount Vernon. So Mount Vernon, we don't see Mount Vernon, and we're glad about it, but they've been kind of all over this regional scoreboard as they play a lot of the teams that we've run into this year. Trojans, of course, lost 34-7 to Knoxville. Knoxville welcomes in Des Moines Hoover tonight over in Marion County. Roland Story last week. They've received votes from the Associated Press poll in Class 2A. They defeated South Hamilton 29-20 over in Gilbert. Quick update in the score here. Solon leading against Mount Vernon. So this is a live score update here tonight. 21-7 is the score. Solon leading against Mount Vernon. That's a big opportunity there for Solon. They take a week 1 loss to Davenport Assumption Catholic. They're not in the rankings at all, and of course, you know, they go. I don't have any too much sympathy for the Solon crowd, as they've had some very successful teams of late. But Absolutely. At any rate, they're up against a pretty solid Mount Vernon team. Back to the roundup here. Charles City narrowly lost to Waterloo East last week, 39-36. They're hosting Mason City tonight for their homecoming game. Looking at teams around the area. In the South Tama area, I should say, North Tama defeated AGWSR in week 3, 36-18. They're hosting BCLUW tonight. Union Community, the Knights, lost to West Delaware 42-12 at home. Tonight they're on the road against Iowa Falls Alden. It's another homecoming game as those events start to trickle into the calendar. East Marshall fell to Eddyville Blakesburg Fremont in week 3, 36-29. That was on the road, and tonight they have the unenviable task of taking on top-ranked Grundy Center, fresh off of a deciding and solid win against Pella Christian in week 3. Grundy Center rolling here in the first part of the season. Another quick score update coming in. Williamsburg up big against Fort Madison. Williamsburg 34, Fort Madison 7. That's the halftime score. Williamsburg and Fort Madison. Last week, the second-ranked Gladbrook-Rhinebeck Rebels in Class 8-man crushed Meskwaki Settlement. It was 90-0 over at Meskwaki Settlement High School. Tonight, Gladbrook-Rhinebeck is on the road to Dunkerton, and Meskwaki will head up to Janesville to face the Wildcats. GMG, the Wolverines, lost to Dunkerton 66-32 last Friday over in Garwin. This week, they're playing a non-Friday matchup due to a shortage in officials. They play on Saturday this week, and the Wolverines host Waterloo Christian. So GMG, so far this season, they played on Thursday, they played on Friday, and here this week, they're playing on Saturday. So a really unique and challenging situation for smaller teams and a lot of the officiating crews around the state of Iowa that have not been able to kind of get enough bodies out there to kind of get the Friday nights covered, and so they're playing on Saturday. Another score update for you here. Grinnell leading 21-6. That's halftime at, let's see here. Grinnell they are on the road against Washington. They're leading 21-6 over the Demons. We'll see Grinnell here in a couple weeks as well for South Tama's homecoming. Marshalltown last week lost to Davenport North 35-21 in what was the debut for Marshalltown's brand new football stadium complex. The Bobcats are home tonight against Newton for their homecoming game. Go Cardinals. BCLUW fell to Nashua Plainfield, who received votes in the Class A Associated Press rankings 46-6 at home. They'll be on the road against North Tama. Belle Plaine won against Moravia 53-46. They're traveling to take on the BGM Bears tonight, who shut out Twin Cedars last week to the tune of an 85-0 blowout. And the Independence Mustangs lost to 28-19 against Waukon, and they'll try to bounce back tonight in a matchup with 6th-ranked Decorah. So that's some scores from around the area here on the Berkwood Village Halftime Show. We're going to jump over to our captain interview with Cody Blocker. Thanks for being with us. We're talking to South Tama captains today here on the football field. I'm joined by one of our South Tama varsity football captains. I'm going to have you introduce yourself. Tell us your name, tell us your grade, and how long you've been playing football.
Hello, I'm a junior. I've been playing My name is Cody Blocker. I'm a junior. I've been playing for as long as I could tell. I've been playing since MFL,
Yeah.
so like probably around 7 years. Pretty good.
What position do you play for the Trojans? And yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
I play running back and I play DB, and that's about it.
How long have you been kind of at those positions? Have you been doing them a long time, or was that a change when you kind of came up into the high school level?
Well, I've been playing running back my whole life, pretty much, but DB is a new thing to me. I started playing it my freshman year, but then my freshman year got called short, and then I played it my sophomore year a bit, and it got cut short again, so now I'm here junior year, back at it.
What do you love about the sport of football? I know you've been through some injury adversity a little bit. What has kind of kept you motivated and kind of coming back after all that?
I mean, just this team. This team has been through everything with me, through the highs, through the lows. They've what kept me around, kept me happy, kept me having fun, love for the game.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about your family. Tell us who you have at home, and how has family impacted your career as a South Tama student athlete?
Oh yes, I have my mom, Tammy Blocker, and my dad, Rod Blocker, is who my parents are. We live at home. They've been through me the whole ride ever since MFL, stuck through me the whole time. And then my brother Bo, he's been through it all. Back in MFL, he actually helped coach.
Oh, nice.
And he's been through this the whole time.
Yeah. I remember Bo a little bit from South Tama some years ago. Any coaching tips? I know he was a running backer in those days too. What does he kind of tell you when you get done with the game? Is he sitting there giving you tips, or is he kind of give you some space a little bit?
Yeah, he gives me everything. He tells me he congratulates me, but he mostly tells me what I did wrong.
Sure,
he just tells me what I got to work on, what I got to focus on. He's just always there for me.
Yeah, nice. Any pets at home? Do you have any pets?
I have one cat named Maya.
Nice. All right. What do you feel like life lessons have you learned from the sport of football? Any takeaways from the game that you kind of bring into your everyday life?
I mean, if you have a team to work with and you work together, you can get anything done, anything accomplished.
Mm-hmm. We're 4 games, or we will be about 4 games into the season here, come on Friday. And what's the assessment, your assessment so far of the season so far? How do you feel like this team has responded, and what do you feel like they need to do to kind of get better as the season goes on?
I mean, I think we've done a lot right, but we've done a lot wrong at the same time. We need to get at it at the start. Mm-hmm. We always finish with the punch, but we need to start and end like that. We always mess up with the few big plays, and that's what shuts us down, and we just got to keep them big plays from happening, and we just got to stay together.
Yep. What's an average week in the life of a student athlete look like from your perspective? I know a lot of you guys have a lot to juggle with school and sports. What does the schedule and routine look like for you?
Yeah, well, I wake up, brush my teeth, get dressed, get to school, pick up a couple people because I'm just there for everybody. I'm just there, and then get to school, get all my grades, do good, and then after that I come to practice, work my hardest, and then after practice I go home, I rest up, and
Nice. Can you describe the role of your coaches in your development as a football player? Any memories of any of your past coaches, or things that they have kind of imparted to you that you have found important?
Yeah, my coaches now, I'm so grateful for them. They've trusted me all the way through, from freshman to sophomore, all the way up to now. I'm so thankful for them. They've done a lot for me. Mm-hmm. They've believed in me the whole time. And then back in the MFL days, I had Andy Sabeka, my dad, and my brother all there with me, and it was just a great time.
Yep. You have any superstitions? I know sometimes with athletes, you got to do certain things before you get ready for a game. Anything that is a routine for you in pregame, or superstitious at all?
I just like to be around the people, get to know them, be excited, get hyped up, and have a great time.
It's kind of a vibe thing, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Do you have any heroes? Can you tell us about them and why they might be like that for you?
Right now, it's my brother. He's just been through it all with me, ups, lows. He's taught me a lot that nobody's ever thought about helping me with. Yeah. He's just always been there and just helps me with everything.
What does leadership look like for you as a captain of this team? And you're also a junior, so not a senior yet. And what does that look like, or how have you kind of thought about leadership as you've been in this captain role?
Mm-hmm. I thought of leadership as just being a team player, getting to know everybody, be on everybody, know them, get them to do their job, just be there for them. Yep. Anything they need.
any advice to young players as they're kind of getting ready to decide what they might want to get involved in and thinking about being in football possibly?
Just do it. You live once. After high school, you never know what's going to happen. Just do everything while you're in school. Get it done.
Yeah.
Have fun.
So as far as football goes, do you have any teams? I know football fandom is a big deal. Do you have any college teams, any pro teams or players that you really get into?
Yeah, well, Iowa, of course, because I live in Iowa. Great with them.
Sure.
Happy with them. And then for not having a team in Iowa, but I like Seattle Seahawks. I don't know why. I just liked them from such a young age.
Yeah.
I think it was the colors, honestly, at the start. But then I just stuck with them the whole time.
Marshawn Lynch with the Skittles. Yeah, that's
yeah.
good stuff. All right. Well, best of luck to you this season, Cody. Thanks for taking some time to talk to us, and we'll be rooting for you out in the field.
Yep, of course. Thank you.
Set me back on my feet, and if my soul refused to shine, would you help me? Would you be kind? Would you feel like trying?
Welcome back to the Berkwood Village halftime show here in Center Point, Iowa. It is all CPU, all half long, first and second quarter. The Stormin Pointers out to a 37-point lead here at the halftime mark. I'm going to toss it over to Hunter. Give us a little thoughts and just kind of a recap of what we saw in that first half.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've mostly seen, like you mentioned, Darvin, is CPU all the time, both sides of the ball. As it comes to first downs, South Tama was able to tie with CPU with 4 first downs on each side. South Tama, if there's anything that we can actually spotlight that's been really good for these guys, is that our penalties were 15 yards total for the first half, as opposed to CPU, which has 35 yards.
Yeah. So double the penalties. I mean, not too costly on either side. We've seen some offsetting things, and yeah, continue. Sorry.
But again, this is a CPU, both sides of the ball. Yeah. Maloney was able to get a 32-yard rush touchdown. Bark, defensively, who is a linebacker for CPU, able to get 2 touchdowns with a fumble recovery and a blocked punt. Andrews connecting with Brinks for 2 touchdowns, one for a 20-yard pass and another for an 11-yard pass. And, of course, when Maloney scored that rush touchdown, Whitty, running back for CPU, was able to get a 2-point conversion as well. But some highlights for our guys. Jeanette was able to, on that opening drive, to get a sack on Brinks. So good play there defensively. Also, I want to highlight Young Bear was able to get his first varsity catch, and it was an 18-yard pass in the center of the field. So,
yeah, that was freshman Kyle Young Bear. And so both Young Bear brothers in action here tonight on the varsity team.
And also, I want to highlight Blocker. Blocker has been able to run.
He's been steady tonight.
He has been. I got notes for first drive of the first quarter, 12-yard rush. First drive on the second quarter, 10-yard rush. Of course, and Weiss was able to be consistent on the run game with a couple of those QB keepers. He did get sacked, I believe, once.
Yeah, he did.
But still, some things to work on. Coach Doran is going to hopefully, get them back feeling better. As for the body language, I didn't really see necessarily anything change, but there was definitely some frustration on that side.
Yeah.
Our special teams really need to tighten up, but we still have a second half to play, still plenty of time left to get some points. I know we've had 2 touchdowns all season long. Of course, we've had Weiss and Dolash able to connect for a kind of a slant route for 11 yards. I do remember seeing that. And, of course, Emerson Bridgewater, when he was able to come in for the Knoxville game.
Yeah, got a touchdown.
Got a touchdown. So hopefully we can keep it going now.
I think we're going to see some different numbers here as these Frosh players are some more Frosh players, I should say, are going to be eligible to kind of come in, the ones that played the full Frosh game. And South Tama did get a win there on that Frosh side. And so we're getting ready for kickoff here. Thanks for being with us during the Brookwood Village halftime show. Thanks to Brookwood Village for their support of Trojan Country this season. And we are ready to go in quarter number 3. It's going to be CPU to kick off. Back deep for South Tama. Same numbers as before in the backfield. It'll be Cody Blocker to the far side there. Closest to the camera is Kinzer Jeanette. Jeanette with the pink gloves tonight, so you can kind of spot him out that way.
Spurlock back to kick. And that's going to go out of bounds at about the 19? 20?
So more or less a touchback there, even though it didn't make it to the end zone.
Yeah. I wonder why Spurlock kind of did that. Maybe he got a nice shank on it. But I would also be afraid of Jeanette or Blocker, making for those runs, because they've made positive yards past the 20-yard line. So it could be just maybe, a planned thing, but otherwise, still touchback. And we're going to get some yards on that because it was out of bounds.
So the out-of-bounds kick will start the Trojans on the 35 is where we will start things here in the third quarter. And I believe we should be into continuous clock situation. I think we have the points to do it, but I wonder if it has to be a certain point in the third quarter. At any rate, little jump pass here to Kinzer Jeanette. Jeanette tries to push pass after the contact. He gets kind of gobbled up there by a good first start here for South Tama as Daniel Weiss connects with Kinzer Jeanette, bringing the ball out to the 42 in South Tama territory.
Yeah, so I really want to see more of this pass play going. Of course, give Blocker a little bit of time to rest, and here we are in the score formation. Blocker's going to take that ball, cut up, jump over a guy, but he's going to get tackled by the front 5 of the CPU.
Not very far to go here for South Tama in this second down run. That pushes them back about a yard, and that'll be 3rd and 5. Maybe a 3rd and long 4, too. You can see Emerson Bridgewater getting some throws in over on the sideline. Wonder if we're going to see him soon here.
Yeah, I would imagine we'd start bringing some of those players up since we're starting to get into the second half. So expect to see some fresh guys coming up from Frosh.
Young Baron Blocker behind Weiss, who starts under center. Quick throw again here to Dolash, and Dolash can't haul it in. Incomplete pass sets up 4th down. So the Trojans get a reception on 1st down and can't convert and keep the drive going. Adrian Valle will line up to punt And Jarrett Coppadryer, the returner, he's been busy tonight, unfortunately, for South Tama.
Yeah, so hopefully our special teams can get it straightened up. Of course, all the issues that happened in the first half, that's behind you now. Focus on the second half here. Valle back to kick.
Solid snap that time. Valle's punt high, a little wobbly, but it gets a favorable bounce and a roll down to the 30. And that's where the South Tama Trojans will down it. CPU to start their first drive of the second half.
This is, I believe, the first time again where the opening drive is taking place in the CPU side of the field.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get a good stop here, get some good field position, and of course Weiss with Dolash, Blocker, all those guys in the backfield able to hopefully get some plays going. But of course can't let the cart get ahead of the horse here. We got to make big stops here.
1st and 10 for Brink, still in at quarterback. Seeing a lot of familiar numbers here. So
That's
not
Coppadryer in motion.
into, yeah, so Coppadryer in motion and a stop in the backfield. That was Miguel Medina, the defensive tackle, getting in there on the stop. And so we do have continuous clock rolling on here. So South Tama is unable to kind of break the scoring drought. We could be in for a pretty quick second half.
Coppadryer again in motion.
High snap. It's going to be a pass to Coppadryer in the flat. A good block there, and he's free along the sideline. One runner to beat. Jarrett Coppadryer. All kinds of room to run. Any flags there, Hunter?
Nope.
Nope.
That was a, oh yes. Yes, there was. Laundry back in the backfield of CPU, so they're going to march that back probably unless there was a block in the back. I didn't see because I was trying to focus on Coppadryer.
Absolutely.
Turning on the Jets there on the far side of the field, and we might be marching this one back.
And you know, with the score the way it is, even if you don't get the yardage and get the play, simply the fact that that happens and you kind of have to run your whole team all the way down the field after the ball, that's a demoralizing thing. You kind of see the body language a little bit of these kids, and
absolutely,
it is going to come back.
Believe there was 2 flags because I also saw the holding for CPU, but I didn't quite see. But I also saw the head referee point to the South Tama side, so I wonder if they're just going to replay second.
Well, I wonder if it was kind of offsetting penalties maybe.
Oh, but
And
they're
so,
moving the chains.
So yeah, if we're moving up, that means South Tama had a penalty called against them, and the play got called back. So the penalty will be from the line of scrimmage, and that will move CPU into a 1st and 10 position on the 43. Loaded potatoes out here to the near side.
It's going to be Maloney.
And he's off free again. Big run here by H.A. Maloney, catching a little cut back, and he's free into the end zone. It doesn't matter. CPU gets in.
Maloney is such a slippery player.
He's fast.
What does he stand? He's not even 6 foot. He's a sophomore, 5'8", 145 pounds. He's slippery.
Yeah, that's a sophomore, folks. And South Tama is going to see Center Point-Urbana. We played them every year the last 4 years, and so I think that's a name that's going to be challenging and familiar for South Tama here in the coming years. Spurlock boots the extra point, and it's 43-0, all Center Point-Urbana tonight in Center Point.
Again, just games of big plays, and Maloney, Andrews, and of course Brink able to they got him in the tens, just play after play, big gain after big game. That's got to hurt if you're South Tama. You're coming back after that.
All smiles here on the CPU sideline as they're having a pretty exciting and successful homecoming here tonight. Looks like we might be getting ready to see a backup quarterback come into, well, maybe. Thought I saw a kid ready to start throwing it around, but Maybe not. Anyway, kickoff coming here for South Tama. Blocker and Jeanette still the returners. It's been good to see South Tama progressing through this without injury, and we knock on all the doors and windows here to make sure it stays that way, of course. But if nothing else, Trojans come away with some game film and some healthy bodies, and hopefully a little bit of recovery coming for the kids on the sideline tonight that aren't able to get in due to injury.
Yeah.
Still undetermined if we're going to see Gavin Bridgewater here yet this season.
And that's going to return that ball. Oh.
Jeanette along the sidelines.
He was going
stopped
to
up.
cut back and bumped into Valle there on the block. So, but this is the first time that South Tama has got negative yards past the 20-yard line. So we're going to be playing at the 18. So definitely a lot of field ahead of us. Got to play what we know. Quick passes. And of course that classic score formation.
Hand off to blocker, spin move, and he's covered up. Near the 15, just past the 15. Got to be expecting some second stringers to be coming in here.
And there's a flag
CPU.
on the play.
South Tama unfortunately doesn't have that many bodies to rotate in second and third string.
I believe that was offsides on us.
Yeah, it'll march back South Tama closer to their own end zone. Haven't seen a field like this where the fans are kind of posted up right near the back of the end zone like that. It's kind of a cozy feel.
Absolutely.
It harkens, for my memory, it harkens back a little bit to the Albia playoff game in 2015 when South Tama had that undefeated regular season, and go down there, and foggy is all get out, so it's just humid, fog in the air. Big matchup with both teams competing quite well, and it was kind of a pit at that time, and I remember fans just in lawn chairs circling the field, and so everything was just kind of down and into it, and that's a little bit the feeling here in this CPU end zone now.
Absolutely. I believe because that was when Jerry Lowe was running back.
Yep, Lowe and Bubba Rutledge, Ian Slagle, Justin Suhanek over on the sideline here helping with the Frosh team. He was part of all that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I really like how we also have a lot of South Tama folks here, especially, CPU isn't that bad, but of course it is CPU's homecoming. There's going to be a lot more people who show out.
Trojans only with 2 more home games left on their calendar this year. We're going to play at Williamsburg next week, and then back-to-back home games. It'll be Grinnell and then Fairfield at home. Grinnell the homecoming week. All kinds of festivities getting lined up for that, so make sure to stay tuned to the South Tama Facebook page for all those updates.
Again, going with that score formation.
Weiss scrambling, pressure, gets to the sideline, tucking and running.
Yeah, Weiss was able to get the good run going north to south on that.
Got his way to the sideline, but it's going to set up a third down, 3rd and 9. So really went east and west on that one. So it does look like we might see Jonah DuPont. I'm trying to figure out which one of these kids is throwing the ball, and it looks, well, I wonder if he's just getting ready for a punt. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe, because
we'll see when they get in there.
Well, no, yeah, maybe. Again, back with that score formation.
3rd and 9 on the 30. Weiss looking for Dolash. Loose ball, pops it out to blocker. I think he's going to be called down before the ball got out.
Yep. And that is going to bring 4th and,
Fourth and 9.
Yeah,
Fourth and 9 on the 20.
I believe.
Trojans need a clean punt here to just keep from making it as easy as possible for CPU.
Yeah, we're going to be punting in our own end zone.
Coppedrier, the returner, will be all the way into the 40-yard line. Another low snap for Valle. He does get the punt off.
Coppedrier is going to...
Waves fair catch.
Yep.
Just outside the 40-yard line. CPU to start things off here. But continuous clock tumbling along in the third quarter.
Absolutely. Defensively, some things that we can work on is definitely going to be those edges, because Maloney has just been able to run at either sideline and get space and get room. So again, some edge things. Definitely secondary's going to need to step up. I know that's the position where it's been hurt the most, but again, fully expecting to
Whitty
get
here,
better.
the runner. That was backup running back, senior Jack Whitty. I think he's had a touchdown earlier in the game, if I remember right.
Yep, he got 2 points.
Oh, the two-point conversion.
The two-point conversion when Maloney went 32 yards for that rush touchdown.
I want to say, every time we've been calling A.J. Maloney's name, I think about a ska band. And every time it's coming up, I'm thinking A.J. Maloney and the Phony Balonies.
There you go.
And that'd be a great ska band, I think.
This one's going to cut back out
Here's
to Coppedrier.
scoots past Weiss, and he is free into the end zone.
There's a flag. That's
Late
gonna
flag.
Be a block
They
in the back.
Came out after Coppedrier got into the end zone, it looked like. Against CPU, it's coming back.
Yeah, that was Liam Juan. Either was pushed, I think Dolash or somebody out back, and that's going to cost him a touchdown.
Brinks coming to the sideline. He might be done for the night. Okay, so the touchdown is going to stand. It maybe happened after,
it was probably
after he
a dead
got
ball.
into the end zone. Although at that point, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, probably unsportsmanlike. Probably talking, of course, when you're up 50-0. That's, and it's homecoming night. They're gonna talk.
PAT by Spurlock sails through, and it makes it a clean 50. Well, a crooked 51. We'll say it that way. 51-0, all CPU, as they're rolling against a kind of battered South Tama team, coming in with a wave of injuries off of week 3. Trojans were only missing Gavin Bridgewater last week, but they come into this week missing Tyrus Clegg, Chase Gustafson, Anthony Thompson, and Marty Garcia off the defensive line. And when you're at a varsity squad of about 20 players, they're down to 13 here off of that initial starting varsity roster, and some Frosh players, of course, having to trickle in from that sophomore and freshman ranks to just fill in and get South Tama a varsity team to put on the field. So
Absolutely. I mean, this kind of reminds me, have you ever watched the movie Kennick?
Sure.
So it kind of reminds me of the 11 Iron Men. And of course, South Tama with 13 starters is almost about there, but of course, both guys, they're going to be playing both sides of the ball almost all the time.
Right.
So the South Tama Iron Men really need to start developing. And of course, I believe, Iowa lost that season, but man, they were able to get some respect and able to get some good wins though. But
so it looks like this penalty is going to come off of the kickoff, because we're setting this kickoff after this touchdown up at the 35. And so South Tama will get a little field position advantage.
Jeanette back to receive. Had a couple blockers, but still able to get it to, I believe, one of our best yards of the night, the 31-yard line to start off.
1st and 10 for STC on the 36. Late third quarter. Big stat lines here for Center Point-Urbana as they've been racking up touchdowns. A lot of defensive touchdowns here too.
Yeah, I would be hard-pressed to think that CPU is going to get played real different looks on that defensive side of the ball now. Back in that score formation. Going to pitch it out to blocker over on the far side. He's going to cut back up. Get a yard on the play.
Quickly met in the backfield there by number 14, Thomas Taylor. Taylor listed as the backup QB, so maybe we see Taylor here in this next sequence.
Yeah. I mean, it's also unfortunate, too, that CPU has a lot of defensive, like, they have enough people going out where they can play different guys on different sides of the ball. I only think that the only one playing both sides is Coppadryer and Andrews, so. Of course, back with that score formation. Blocker in the far back, Young Bear up close.
Trojans just keeping it conservative here, going right up the middle, and it's going nowhere for blocker. Sportsmanship there for Kinzer Jeanette, welcoming or helping up a CPU.
Doesn't
opponent.
that just speak to his character?
Yeah.
You're down 50-0, and still able to help a guy up on the side of CPU after you pushed him into the ground, but you still help him up. So really speaks volumes to the character of Kinzer Jeanette.
Just seeing a puppy getting carried into the CPU crowd here. I'm real tempted to get the camera over here. But we're not going to cut away from game film. We won't do that. But the cutest little puppy dog made its way into the CPU stands, got to tell you.
Fantastic.
3rd and 10. Quick pass here to Dolash. It sails high, incomplete.
But of course, so we've seen several animals. We've seen a puppy, and we've seen a rabbit.
Yeah, we had if you tuned in late, we had a first half. Wild rabbit made its way into the football field, sprinted up the South Tama sidelines, and eventually kind of got helped off.
Yeah, I believe that Bunny got 11 yards.
Yeah, right.
So
Bunny, God.
Bunny on the stat line sheet tonight.
Oh no.
Oh no, Valle dropped the punt.
That's the third kind of bungled punt sequence, and that'll give CPU the ball on the 30. And so they start with favorable field position again.
Again, we've been playing majority time on the South Tama side of the field, and almost every time CPU has been able to score. Of course, we see the score what it is now, and every possession possible, they've been getting that score.
Let's see here.
I can't quite see the numbers on it.
Different quarterback that time.
And a different running back as well.
So it is Taylor, the backup QB, in for CPU.
And it's Whitty again there as the running back.
All right, so second string work getting done here for CPU now after they've pushed the lead to 51. Reminder, we'll be live from Williamsburg next week. Trojans take on a championship level opponent next week in the Williamsburg Raiders.
It's going to be tough.
1st and 10 here for the Pointers. They're going to slot 2 receivers on either side. Taylor and Whitty in the backfield.
Looks like we got a 3-man front.
Under a minute to go. Hand off to Whitty. Up the middle. Short gain. Stopped by Kyan McBride.
I saw Sokol in there too, able to help with that tackle there too. So excellent job on our front guys. Still trying to fight this one out.
Keaton Sokol, one of the practice captains this week. Kind of a quiet presence there as a senior on the line. Along with Wyatt Sermon, he was the other practice captain for Coach Dorn and the Trojans this week.
Of course, they're going to chit-chat about that play. See what they're going to do. Again, we got Whitty in the backfield. High snap, but still a good pass off, but tripped up there from one of the South Tama players. Can't quite see who the number was, but looks like he's hurt. Dolash.
Dolash slow to get up, kind of favoring the arm a little bit, so that will be the end of the third quarter. We go to the fourth quarter, and we'll be right back after a short break. Thanks for being with us. Welcome back. It's start of the fourth quarter. Center Point-Urbana up 51-0 against South Tama. Been a tough night for the Trojans as its game has been plagued with kind of special teams missteps, a couple fumbles, and not a lot happening on the offensive side with a lot of injuries and new players kind of filtering into the starting lineup tonight. Trojans very much on their heels this evening against CPU. And we're going to get some second string and third string action here for CPU, and we'll see what that means for South Tama. So here's Thomas Taylor.
Showing blitz.
Quarterback. Motion. Handoff. He is to Drew Shellhorn. And Shellhorn looks to be in the end zone. Touchdown Pointers. So Drew Shellhorn, the senior wide receiver, making his way into the end zone.
Yeah, so that was a good motion play. Again, CPU's been good on, you know, every facet of the ball. Of course, their kicker hasn't missed a kick.
No.
Even though we've been trying to get some pressure. But
PAT by Spurlock is good, and that'll make it 58-0. And we are just like that, a quick score by the Pointers, and we go back to the kick return. Broadcast reminder, will be live from Grinnell High School. It'll be an audio-only broadcast over in Grinnell. On Tuesday, it'll be the varsity volleyball team squaring off. Usual time there, start time 7:30 for the varsity match. And then on Thursday, the Trojans welcome in AGWSR. I don't have it in front of me, but I know they're a ranked team over in Class 1A. That'll be a pretty competitive matchup there. I think South Tama should play well against Grinnell. Just kind of looking at their record on paper, looks to be a competitive situation. And then we'll see if South Tama can, if they do well against Grinnell, carry some momentum into that AGWSR game. And then on Saturday, the home tournament will be here at South Tama, beginning around 9 a.m., going through into the mid-afternoon. Several teams in attendance. We're going to have that live for you here on Trojan Country. Going to be a little bit different kind of a broadcast, as there's going to be two different nets going. We'll get up as much South Tama volleyball content as we can on Saturday.
Absolutely.
And we'll be excited to kind of follow the Trojans. They're inactive this weekend. The Trojans get a break before a 3-game schedule here next week. And after that, they're going to lead right into homecoming. So as soon as the Trojans get done with their Saturday home meet, here's a kick return coming by Cody Blocker. Blocker stopped just short of the 25. going to be right into homecoming. So they get done with the home meet on Saturday. I believe they, I don't know if they've announced a 5K race yet, but that usually starts things off. The cross-country team organizing things on a Sunday to kind of kick off homecoming week leading up to that next Friday. It'll be Grinnell with the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy 2 Fridays from now.
Yeah, and
so the
and
parade,
we got a really
the coronation, and all that. Yep.
Cross-country team too.
Oh, so exciting! Yeah, they're the boys varsity team inactive this weekend. The JV is going to go up to BCLUW and run the invitational up there. Timeout called.
South Tama gets that timeout.
And then next week, the team will be at a Newton Invitational on Tuesday, I believe. And then on Friday, the varsity boys squad heads up to Minnesota for a regional, kind of national regional meet on Friday. So we'll kind of have that happening in concert with the Williamsburg game. So it'll be kind of interesting to deliver you some results and see how they're doing over in Minnesota, kind of for a special opportunity with the team sort of crescendoing over their high school career, nearly missing or nearly making the state meet last year, bringing back a lot of talented runners and a core group. So they've kind of been able to take some special trips and kind of get themselves into different competition, try and prepare themselves for, you know, district and state qualifying meets.
Yeah, so exciting things happening outside of football.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're just firing things up here in the fall season.
Absolutely.
All right, here's South Tama. Daniel Weiss still under center for the Trojans in the I formation. Just keeping things as simple as possible. Handoff to Cody Blocker at the 25. No gain on the carry. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, I think at this point, we just run a couple plays. Don't try anything funny. Don't try anything big. Just kind of
keep everybody safe.
Yeah.
Try and work on some fundamentals here in this 4th quarter with continuous clock rolling on. And then see where things lie come next week. Cody Blocker again on the carry. He's going to be busy, I think, in this 4th quarter.
I agree. But again, you know, that gives him a lot of practice, you know, between the ISOs and the kickouts around, between the guard and tackle, and of course those sweeps out and around. He's going to be able to find something, and it looks like we got, well, just for a little bit there, number 9 on the side of CPU. He sat down for a little bit, so he was kind of gimping a little bit. So again, also wearing on the side of CPU.
Yeah, so far it's been a pretty injury-free game. Last week, Trojans had a fair share of cramps and pulls and tears and everything.
Good cutback from Blocker.
Cody Blocker kind of hurdling over Stormin Pointers, but the Pointers stop him up before the 1st down marker, and that'll bring up 4th down. Not to be, you know, and not to be understated here, one thing that's happening, and this could be contributing to what we're seeing here with some of these punt situations, is that Adrian Valle, the punter and kicker for South Tama, is starting tonight on the defensive line. So think about kickers and punters. You did not expect them to be starting also in the front line of your defense.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening and what's had to happen for South Tama. They're not gonna attempt a punt here. It's going to be Blocker trying the run.
They might give
Close
him
to
the
a first down.
And they are. They're going to give him the 1st down. All right. Excellent job. Able to get that just enough.
Ball just inside the 35.
And this time Blocker's coming out. Coming in is going to be, who's that? I didn't see the number.
Young Bear, maybe?
Probably Young Bear. Again, CPU showing a 4 front, expecting to run again.
Right up the middle. And I think that was 52. Was that Medina running it?
Medina.
So Miguel Medina getting a look there. Any route. 2nd and 8 now for the Trojans as some different players kind of getting into the action.
Yeah, sorry I was a little quiet there. I'm trying to figure out who we're subbing in.
So it looks like we've got Young Bear. I wonder if that's Graybeal. That's 25. I don't have a 25.
Yeah, that's why I'm like checking here. It's like on my sheet, I don't have any numbers associated with the players on the field, but that time the tackle was made by Preston Thompson. But yeah, I mean, of course, I would imagine that we're going to get some of our younger guys in,
yeah.
get the experience, get a couple looks in. Because, yeah, with the way this game's been going with 6:53 left to play, you almost want to give a different look to our younger players. Of course, we're going back in that standard score formation.
6:40 on the clock. Pitch out to Blocker. Straight up the middle. Little room to run.
There we go.
Good strong run there.
Blocker has been consistent all game long.
Yeah.
I want to make that a point because he's been seeing different looks on both the ISOs, the cut-ups through the tackles, again, like I mentioned, on some of those routes. And he's been dipping his head down and really fighting for extra yardage, too. So
got to appreciate the aggressiveness he's had. And he's a junior, so we're going to keep him around next year and his senior season with some of these other junior athletes.
Absolutely.
Power Eye still running here for South Tama on 4th down. They're going to go for it. 4th and 3, nothing to lose here. And a flag, and that might push the sticks forward.
Yeah, so that was number 60, Ben Upa on the jump.
We'll go against CPU, and that will be an automatic 1st down.
All right, so getting something going offensively. So hopefully don't get skunked with the continuous clock at 5:47. Maybe we can get a score out of this. Maybe. That would be nice.
We'll see. Plenty of time to go for at least one more drive down the field with this continuous clock. But South Tama in this very kind of buttoned up Power Eye situation. So we're going to see everything up the middle. Kyle Youngbear, the ball carrier there.
Still, Youngbear's been pretty fearless running that ball right up the middle. Of course, he had that big reception for 18 yards right in the center of the field in the middle of coverage.
Yeah.
So definitely getting some experience, learning what it's like on the varsity squad. At this point, we're just getting them ready for next year.
Yep, absolutely. I'd like to say thank you to AD Scott Kriegel over here at CPU and the staff and Coach Schott for their hospitality. They've been very welcoming to us here and getting set up for Trojan Country Broadcasting this evening. And so we just say a special thank you to them for welcoming us in and letting us kind of bring this video broadcast to you. Here we're going to have a few weeks this season where we won't be able to go live with a video feed due to school regulations and just rules put on by host school districts. And so we do appreciate the opportunity to kind of bring the live broadcast here at CPU tonight. And best of luck to them as they go on in their rest of their season.
Absolutely. I mean, they got to be feeling good coming off of this homecoming game.
Yeah, big momentum boost here as they're going to head into district play now.
Well, this time, Upa didn't get the jump called, but we're going to be good for a 1st down.
CPU going into district action. They will be kind of a special away game taking on Wahlert Catholic. Actually, I don't think that's a special location. I think Wahlert just plays at Loris. You kind of have it like that when you're the parochial school. So they play Wahlert on the road at Loris College, and then a couple of home games: West Delaware, Central DeWitt, and then they go to Maquoketa in week 8 and round it out with Independence at home. So that's the kind of district slate for for the Pointers after tonight's matchup. We got a CPU player down on the field getting stretched out. First injury timeout we've had tonight.
Yeah. And it's a cramp, so
Yeah.
probably one of those things. Just it is getting a little humid for 60-degree weather, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. You can, with these lights, the stadium lights, you can really kind of see the humidity in the air, kind of with the light shining up.
Absolutely.
Thank you to our sponsors as well. They include Berkwood Village of Tama Toledo, Salt Creek Wind, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, SNS Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Robach Lumber, Stein Robach Floor Coverings, Medicap Pharmacy, Mark West and Hoyer Law Office, Assured Partners Insurance, Appraisal and Realty Services, Sharn Weber's and TFD Photo and Film. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and YouTube for up-to-date Trojan Country broadcast information. A reminder, again, 3 volleyball matches coming your way next week in the football game over in Williamsburg. So lots of action to tune into. Of course, we do encourage all of our fans to make it out to cheer on the Trojans whenever you can. It's just a good opportunity to stay plugged into the community and kind of be there for some kids that have, at this point, have had a pretty rough season so far. So
Blocker again in the backfield, able to get a couple yards after that.
short gain
Pitch
there
out,
by Cody
yeah.
Blocker. 3.5 minutes on the clock.
It looks like it's Reese Jones Jr. was the one who was down on the field. He's off the sideline and getting those
worked out.
cramps, straightened out.
Second and 9 on the 43.
So of course, with that continuous clock going, I bet we're just gonna keep on running those run plays and score formation, see what kind of looks we can get against Williamsburg, and get ready for that matchup.
Little
Weiss
fake
is
here
gonna
by
pass.
Daniel Weiss.
He's gonna keep
it
it,
up the sideline. It's good for a nice gain, and that'll make it a manageable 4th and short.
Absolutely.
Well, he must have went out further sooner than I thought, because I saw him kind of heading to the sideline. Thought he was closer to a 1 or 2 yard gain, but that'll be 3rd down and 6 now on the 39.
Different looks now. It's going to be a quarterback keeper. Able to get 4 yards on the gain right there for Weiss.
4th down now, 4th and 3 on the 39 with under 2 minutes to go.
So definitely a lot of things to work on going against a very well-coached and well played.
I mean, some penalties tonight, but you haven't seen a lot of missteps.
No.
I mean, in the first half when South Tama was kind of still playing some competitive ball, yeah, a pretty sound team here tonight with CPU. You got to kind of tip the hat to that. Pass down the field, incomplete. Intended receiver was Kinzer Jeanette. Flag comes out after the incomplete.
I wonder if that was pass interference. I think he was tugging at the jersey a little bit too early there.
Could be, yeah. So it'll be a turnover on downs for, no, it's going to be a penalty. Okay, so it'll be a penalty against CPU, and that keeps the keeps the Trojans offense on the field here.
Yeah, with 1:12 left to play, might as well, you know, give a couple hucks. Maybe we can get some points, but at this point, it's okay. We'll be all right.
58-0 with a minute to go here. 1st and 10 on the 20.
Pitch out to Blocker, but no gain on the carry. The first one to hit him was 30 for CPU. He's not on my list.
So, yeah, we're getting kind of deep into the depth chart here.
So that will bring up 2nd and 11 with time winding down, less than 30 seconds now. Score formation. This time Weiss is going to keep it roll out And he's going to get pushed out of bounds there at the 20-yard line, I believe.
15 seconds here. That should do it, as these teams will wait it out, let the clock roll, and final score here tonight in Center Point in 4 seconds.
Oh,
I didn't time my lead in right.
Oh,
no, not
there we
timeout.
go.
Just didn't have the clock off yet. Final score 58-0. Center Point-Urbana gets their first win of the season. South Tama falls to 0-4 after a tough night here in CPU.
Yeah, just kudos to CPU, just playing all facets of the ball just absolutely wonderfully tonight. Of course, Maloney able to get a couple, get that rush touchdown. Andrews had 2 touchdown passes from Brink. And defensively, Bark had 2 touchdowns from a fumble recovery and a punt mishap recovery for a touchdown. So all 3 facets by CPU played very well tonight. And of course, that's why the score is why it is.
So we'll say good luck to Center Point-Urbana as they go to take on Waller Catholic next week, Friday. South Tama takes on Williamsburg. We got a score from Williamsburg at halftime. It was then, let me get back to it, Williamsburg up big against Fort Madison, kind of a mismatch there. So the Raiders looking to stay unbeaten as they are looking to get back to the state championship game. And again, volleyball broadcast coming your way. Don't forget about that. We do have South Tama at Grinnell on Tuesday. AGWSR comes to town for a home game on Thursday, and then the home meet on Saturday. So thanks for being with us here tonight. And quick shout out to our sponsors before we sign off: Berkwood Village of Tama Toledo, Salt Creek Wind, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, S&S Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Robach Lumber, Stein Robach Floor Coverings, Medicap Pharmacy, Mark Wesson Hoyer Law Office, Appraisal and Realty Services, Assured Partners Insurance, Scharnwebers, and TFD Photo and Film. All of the Trojan Country broadcasts made possible by the Charlie Townsley Memorial. Have a great weekend.